Well, joining me now is the CEO of the Migrants' Rights Network, Fizza Qureshi. Fizza, thanks a lot for talking to us this afternoon. What did you make of what the Albanian PM said there, that basically the rhetoric around Albanian migrants here in the UK is basically a political move?
I would have to agree, sadly. I think the language of invasion and the comments that have been made by the government minister recently were frankly appalling. And we've seen the repercussions of language that is used that is demeaning and dehumanizing with the Dover attack, sadly. I think what there is seems to be a scapegoating of migrants and refugees and kind of a deflection from the government's own other failing policies on other issues. And migrants and refugees become the easy fodder to attack. I think it's not just it's Albanians at the moment that are being concentrated on, but there are many other communities that are kind of attacked and vilified and just dehumanized on a constant basis, sadly.
What do you say to people who look at the situation in Albania? I mean, looking at Siobhan's report, listening to that, it sounds like they have quite a few issues there, economic issues, a lack of hope, they said. But what do you say to people who say, we understand that those may be the issues in your country, but that simply doesn't mean that you can come to ours?
I think it's, as you said, it's really looking at the root causes of why people are having forced to leave their countries. I'm sure many people would not want to and do not want to. I mean, why would you want to leave what is the comfort of your communities and the language and the culture that you embrace to have to move to somewhere else where you have to learn new ways? I think it's also it is about understanding really first why people might need to leave their home country. I think there is the other issue is we don't make it easy for people to come to the UK through any routes, really. The visa systems are backlogged or very difficult to go through, and including the asylum system at the moment, where how are people meant to come to the UK for safety and protection when those safe routes don't exist, but except for a small cohort of people?
Do you have any figures? Do you have any idea what percentage of migrants, asylum seekers coming here are Albanians, and if that has increased recently?
We don't have the figures on the number of Albanians coming to the UK, but we can say that they're the second highest nationality that is referred to the Home Office for modern slavery and trafficking concerns, and it's increasing year by year. So there are safety concerns here for Albanian migrants and refugees, which are probably being overlooked because we see safety and protection through quite a narrow lens at the moment.
Because whenever this issue of migrants comes up, the issue of the people smugglers again and again, no matter where they're coming from, also comes up. Is that the issue that we need to target to solve the problem? Or is it, as the Albanian PM said, the failed border policies?
I would say it's around the policies that we have. So it's a policy crisis we have in relation to how migrants and refugees can come to the UK and kind of better their lives. So it's, yes, I'm not going to in any way say that smuggling in itself shouldn't be kind of tackled, but it is a cause of our failed policies at the moment around immigration. And if we were a more inclusive society, we probably wouldn't have people needing to pay extortionate amounts of money, but also, putting themselves at risk. So, obviously ending up in the hands of traffickers as well. We may be able to avoid all that if we were able to offer more routes for people to come to the UK.
And you mentioned language at the beginning of this interview, but I just want to go back to that, the issue of language, the language used particularly by politicians. Do you think that they should be very careful about the terms that they use?
Yes, absolutely. We've started recently a campaign called WordsMatter, which is to debunk and kind of demystify some of the language that is used. So we hear very often the language of illegal immigrants and kind of explaining that people can't be illegal. The actions may be language like genuine asylum seekers, which again doesn't have any basis. it is about us reminding ourselves that we also need to evolve our language, and politicians and the media also need to do that, where we are trying to understand better how that language impacts those communities that we're speaking about. I think the most important thing that kind of the government and the politicians and the media could do is actually speak to the people that are living this experience of migration and seeking protection. Ask them, how should we speak about you, rather than speak to them and understand how they want to be spoken about, rather than just making assumptions that this is the language that should be used around them.
Okay, Fizza, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.